What is going on, everybody? What is going on? What's up, Seventh Heaven? Do your thing. Take a break. Do your thing. It won't be that crazy. I got it. Do your thing. It's our lovely moderator, Seventh Heaven. Oh, that's funny. Would you mind if I just watch tonight? You know what, Seventh Heaven? You can watch all night. You can watch all night. That's funny. That's funny. It's good to see everybody here. It's good to see all the My Lifers in the building. So what's going on? I hope everyone had an amazing day. I hope everyone has had a very productive day. It has been a crazy last few days for me, but I am going to be all right. I'm going to get through all of this stuff, man. It's been a lot going on. Had some issues. I've been working on my car for the last couple of days. The heater core went out, and as you all know, it just got cold here in Nashville, so now I got some work to do. So tomorrow I will be spending a whole day under the hood of my car, and we will see how that goes. I always do my own car work, so I plan on having everything fixed tomorrow. What's up, Nikki T? What's up, Kawhi? Good to see you. Thank you, Seventh Heaven. I'm trying to be somebody when I grow up. Get a little spiffy on y'all every now and then, you know what I'm saying? Get a little spiffy on y'all real quick one good time, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying. We're going to wait for everybody to get here in the digital building. Seventh Heaven, I see you got your new profile picture. You looking pretty sexy too there, young lady. I said, okay, look at Seventh Heaven with her new profile pic. I see you, Seventh Heaven. What is going on? Cleo Banks is in the building. We have the Amazonian in the building. We have Wonder Woman is in the building. What's up, Double W, Cleo Banks? I see you. I see you. Thank you, Nikki T. I appreciate that. Try to get a little spiffy. I'm stepping my game up a little bit. I'm gonna step my game up a little bit, you know. A lot of things happen and cause you to kind of lose sight of certain things. So, you know, you have to get back to who you are. And that's the point of all of this. You know what I mean? That is the point, because sometimes you just lose sight of who you are sometimes, and you gotta get your shit back together. So it's time for me to get my shit back together and be back who I was. You know what I mean? This is how I've always been. All the way back. Let's cut the music. I'm sure we'll have some more people coming here soon. Let's cut this music down so I can talk real quick. Now, if anybody wants to call in tonight, you know the call-in number 615-270-2094. What's going on, Carolyn? Lawson? I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it very, very much. But yeah, I've always been a spiffy brother. I've always been a brother that tried to be a little spiffy on them. And then, you know, sometimes life starts happening. Things start happening. And you kind of start to lose track of who you are. And you just fall into this place where you're like, it's not a big deal. I'm not worried about it today. I'm not gonna cut my hair and twist my locks. Just who cares? Ain't nobody paying me no damn attention any goddamn way. I'll just slum it. It don't matter. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. Nobody's paying me. Ain't nobody, like my aunt say, ain't nobody paying you no damn attention. No way. Right? But then you gotta stop and think, hold on. I'm paying myself some attention. And you look like shit. What are you doing? What are you doing with yourself, K Fitz? What are you doing with yourself? Get your shit together. So I had to get my shit back together. I had to be the me that I've always been. And sometimes it just takes something to happen and you think, you know what? This me I'm being is some bullshit. I don't like this me. I like the me I was before all that bullshit happened. Let me go back to being that me. So that's what I'm doing. So pretty much all my dudes, we hang out. They always, oh shit, we got stuff like, here come Keith. Keith gonna be coming. If we go hang out, it's like, oh, we gonna have to get spiffy because you know what Keith gonna do, right? They always give me a hard time, but they love me. Those are my dudes, but they know that's just me being me. So I appreciate the compliments, guys. It's been a while since I have felt like myself, and that is happening. It has happened within the last few months. It takes some time, but it does. Which brings me to the topic that I chose for tonight. Leaving the org is like losing your best relationship. Yeah? Now I know a lot of people may be thinking, what do you mean? What do you mean your best relationship? The organization is some bullshit. So what do you mean your best relationship? Well, let's talk about it, shall we? Yes, we shall. My drink is almost empty. So let's talk about it. Now, me being someone, what's up, RKS Note? RKS Note says, hi, love the topic. I appreciate that, RKS Note. I'm not sure what your name means, but hopefully I'm saying it correctly. But what I want to say is, being someone that is born into the organization, you get used to a certain lifestyle. You get used to a certain way that people treat you, right? Now, unless you come from one of those fucked up congregations where motherfuckers are fake as shit. Excuse all that. I said a whole bunch of cuss words in that sentence. I don't know why. But what's going on, Gypsy? It's good to see you. If you're from a congregation where everyone was super nice, for the most part, I know a lot of us are either from or in a congregation where everyone is super nice. Now, of course, there are a few people who are, thank you, Gypsy. There are a few people who are completely janky. What's up, Aramis? Good to see you. It's good to see you too, Aramis. Got a nice fam, brother. It's good to see your fam on Insta. Good stuff, brother. Good to see a brother with a happy family. That's some good stuff. So while we realize now that the organization is about that bullshit, right? But remember, when you were in that organization, when we were in the organization, it was a beautiful thing. It wasn't about that bullshit then. Now, of course, up to the point where you start to wake up, you might start to say it's about this, it's that bullshit. But when we were in it, it was absolutely great. You remember how loved it used to feel by everyone? You remember how you felt so special when you would go to the Kingdom Hall and everybody would love on you. Hey, how you doing? It's good to see you. What's going on? How your mama doing? How your uncle doing? How your sister doing? We didn't see you yesterday. What happened? Are you okay? Do you need something to eat? How's your feet feeling? What's your, it's just all kind of this love bombing, right? Just the love bombing. And you get so accustomed to having this extended family where everyone loves the hell out of you, right? You get so used to that. What's up, Foxy Loxy? It is good to see you in the digital building. I don't think I've seen you in a while. How are you doing, Foxy Loxy? How you been? How's your uncle? How's your sister? How's your feet doing? How's everything going? Joe's witnesses love bombing. Gypsy Lydia says it's all fake. But you know what? It's not all fake. I wonder if it's all fake. Now, I can say that there were people in the organization that I know for a fact legitimately cared about me. But they cared about me as long as I was in the organization. Now, there are some people that I know that will see me right now and still care about me. Just like with Reggie, I was talking about at the grocery store. He was very respectful, even though I didn't want to have anything to do with the religion. He was still very respectful. And while it may be fake from the standpoint that if you don't share their belief system, they cut you off, it's still genuine from the standpoint of you're in it. When you're all in it, it's still real at that point. When you're all in it, it's still kind of real. You know what I mean? They do care about you. They do love you. So it's fake-ish, but it's real too. And I can honestly say that even though I left, there are people who were in that organization that I know legitimately cared about me. Again, I was born in from birth, I was born in. So these people knew me from the time I was born all the way up until the time I left, 26 years. These people knew me 26 years. And while it may have been easy for them to dismiss me when I left, I can honestly say I know some of the bonds that I formed while I was in the organization were legitimate bonds. I'm not going to discount that and say that everyone was fake. I'm not going to say it was all fake. What's up, Skeptical Mantis? What's up, Great Dane? Skeptical Mantis says maybe it's real, but also forced and conditional. Now I'm going to say this. I had an episode about this on my channel, but Skeptical Mantis, unless you're talking about the love between a parent and child, all love is conditional. There is no such thing as unconditional love for the most part. Because you can be in a relationship with someone, they say, oh, I love you unconditionally. She finds out you cheated on her, or you punch her in the face, love is done from a healthy relationship. So, if love was truly unconditional, that means you could do anything to anybody and you would still love them. So, in order for love to be healthy, there has to be conditions on it. You have to be able to say, I love you, but if you do this, this, or this, it's going to cancel out our relationship. Unconditional love would be unrealistic and unhealthy for the most part. The only reason why I think unconditional love exists is because it exists between parent and child. My daughter could do whatever. I'm still going to love her regardless because she's my child. But there is no such thing as unconditional love in platonic and intimate relationships. That's a farce. People say it because it sounds good, but it's not true. Well, Skeptical Manna says, true, no love should be totally unconditional, but some have more conditions than others. It doesn't matter. Some people have more conditions than others. That's how love works. If you commit to someone friendship-wise or relationship-wise, and you choose to be with that person, you're going to choose to be with their conditions, or you're going to choose to not be with them. So you can't be mad at the witnesses because you say their love is conditional. All love is conditional. Cleo Banks says, I think they are brainwashed to act like they care. I have to do the fake smile and friendliness when I go to hall now, or people question you asking why you don't have joy of Jehovah. I would agree with that to an extent. I think we were brainwashed to act like we cared. But I do honestly believe that there were some who honestly cared. I don't think they were all fake. I know for a fact that there were people at the organization that honestly cared. Now, whether they were able to display that caring, whether they knew how to display it in a healthy manner, that's a different thing. Now, I do believe that we in the organization weren't taught to express things in the most healthy manner. But I also think that there were people who honestly cared about me as well. And there were people that I honestly cared about as well. But that's going to be more about what we talk about as the conversation develops. Love of the Sun says, I could never. What do you mean, I could never, Love of the Sun? RKS Note says, all Christian churches are experiencing the same issues you discussed with your JW church. Okay. Well, I've never been to any Christian church service, so I don't know, but I'm glad that you pointed that out, RKS Note. I appreciate that. What was I saying? But yes, I think that there were people that honestly cared about me. Now, much in the same way as a relationship works. In the beginning, it is absolutely beautiful. The honeymoon phase, things are great. As long as everything is going the way everyone wants it to, relationships are usually incredible, right? In the beginning. But as time goes by, being in the organization, you start to examine the organization and you start to see things. You start to say, this is not what I thought it was. Much in the same way as in relationships, as they progress, you start to see things that you did not see in the beginning. Pause right there. Doe Jane, how are you? Good to see you in the chat. Doe Jane says, I feel that we were set up with a group of people that we are told we have to deal with, the friendships were conditional and fake, and yes, there were some that truly cared. Let me read that again. I feel that we were set up with a group of people that we are told we have to deal with. The friendships were conditional and fake. And yes, there were some who truly cared. Let's examine that. And that's the second person that said they were conditional, okay? When people in the chat, or when we say, one, let me ask this question. Why do we feel like conditional relationships are a bad thing? See, I think that people in general are told that they should love people unconditionally, and that is some bullshit. How many times have you seen someone that was in a relationship that you saw that they were being treated poorly and they wouldn't leave? I don't think I've ever seen anyone in that position say, I know you're getting your ass beat, but you should love them unconditionally. Or if there was someone in a friendship where one friend was taking and the other was giving, and it was super lopsided, and they came to you about it, I don't think you would tell your friend, I know your friend's treating you like shit, but you should love them unconditionally. Like, why is it that so many people feel that putting conditions on the people in your life is a bad thing? Guys, I think we have to come to the realization that all relationships are and should be conditional. I will be in a relationship based on the condition that you treat me the way I want to be treated. I will be your friend based on the condition that you give as much in the friendship as I do, that our friendship is 50-50. I don't want to be giving to you all the time and you taking constantly. I will love you based on the condition that you treat me in the manner that I tell you that I need to be treated in. And if you go outside those conditions, we will no longer be in a relationship. Guys, conditions are another word for boundaries. And too many people don't understand that in order to have healthy relationships, you have to have boundaries. Gypsy says, I feel that family love should be unconditional. Friends, I don't know, but you are right. Even in families, love shouldn't be unconditional. It's the same way like when I would talk about my parents. I'm not going to continue to love them based on the way that they were treating me. Okay? And that's what we're going to go into the more I talk, I think. But I think we need to get to a point that we still have to understand that relationships should be conditional. So I don't feel that it's necessarily a bad thing because a friendship is conditional. Friendships should be conditional. One of the reasons why I don't speak to one of my friends that I've known forever is because he didn't treat me in a way that I thought was reciprocal to the way I was treating him. Jumanji the Apostate says, I think the difference is the organization sets up the condition for love and not individual witnesses themselves. Now that is a very well put statement. Very well put statement, Jumanji. But see, that's why, again, I always say at some point we have to differentiate the people from the organization. If the organization sets up these conditions and the people are just following them, at what point do we say, okay, it's the people and it's not the people, it's the organization? Okay. But yes, that's a very, very well put statement, Jumanji the Apostate. I appreciate that. So as you stay in the organization longer, you start to see things. You start to examine things. You start to say, I don't like the way that happens. I don't understand that teaching. I don't know why they're saying that. The same way in a relationship, you start to see, the longer you're in a relationship, you might start to say, I don't like that this person does that. I don't like that I can't say this without causing a problem. I don't like the way it feels when this happens. Now, this may be way down the line in the relationship, but you have to remember, even if you weren't a born-in witness and you came in, the beginning of the time when you came in felt freaking amazing. That's why you were there. The same way as in a relationship, once you first enter in their relationship, that shit feels fucking incredible, right? Now, for myself, for the majority of my life, I've been in a relationship. My ex-wife, we were together from the time I was 16 until the time I was 32. Then I was with my ex-girlfriend from the time I was 35 till I was 44 last year. Okay. So I've had 2 real relationships in my life. 13-year relationship, 10-year relationship, nearly 10-year relationship. So in my entire adult life, I've been single for 3 years. Okay. What's going on with Tanya Smith? Good to see you in the chat. So, as you start these relationships, everything seems really, really great in the beginning. But as you start to examine the relationships, things start to break down. Now, the whole point of me saying that this leaving the org is like losing your best relationship is because, in my opinion, it's very similar. Once the relationship starts to deteriorate with the organization and you start to see the organization for what it really is, you may not really want to leave. Deep down, you may not really, really, really want to leave, right? But there's something in there that's telling you you have to leave. You have to leave. Thanks, Muscle Max 21. Muscle Max Z1. There's something telling you that you have to leave. The same way when you're in a relationship, you may not want to leave. You love this person. The same way that there are people in the organization that you may not necessarily want to leave because you love them and they love you too. Just like in a relationship, you love them. They love you too. But somewhere along the way, something happens where you see things differently and you know you have to leave. But you don't want to, because you know that once you leave, that connection is gone. That connection is going to be severed. The connection you have with all the friends and family in the organization, all your friends that you've grown up with or the friends that you've known for decades, all your family members that you've been with your entire life, right? The same way with a relationship. You've been in a relationship with this person for so many years. That connection is about to be severed. All the friends that you have with that person, all the family that you have with that person, that shit is about to be severed. And nobody wants to really, really do that. Even if it's the best thing, you don't really, really want to do that. But there's always something in the back of your head saying, you know you need to do this. You know you need to leave this organization, relationship. It's the same difference, right? So you leave. You leave the organization. You leave your relationship. Either you leave or they leave you. One of the two. Either way, the relationship is done. You leave the organization. You still want to reach out to the people in the organization when you leave. You don't just leave and say, fuck everybody, I'm never going to talk to anybody again. In your heart, you still want to talk to those people. You still want to hear from them. They still deep down want to talk to you, but they know they can't. You leave your relationship. Deep down, you still want to talk to that person. You're not just super done, unless it was just super horrible, which most of the time it's always reasons. You leave, you still want to hear from that person. That person may still want to hear from you. But you know you can't talk to them. You can't talk to them. You want to. Me and my ex have been broken up for a year. There are times where I still think, I wonder what she's doing. I would just like to see how she's doing. I wonder if she's doing okay. But I know I can't. I can't talk to her. I can't see her. There's times when I would wonder how people in the organization are doing. I can't talk to them, though. I can't reach out to them. Because doing that in either situation is only going to cause me heartache. When I was going through that breakup, my last breakup, my sister Felicia, I would talk to her all the time. This was a really bad breakup. It was a really hard breakup. And I would talk to her all the time, and I would want to reach out to my ex. I would be like, I found out she had an accident because she had a DUI. She drank too much. And I was just so distraught. I was like, I really want to see how she's doing. I want to know she's okay. And Felicia would tell me, Keith, are you sure you want to reach out to her? And I'm like, yeah, I'm so worried about her, man. I'm so worried. I want to make sure she's all right. And Felicia would say, you know what? If you feel in your heart that you have to do that, you go right ahead and do it. I can't stop you. But what I will tell you, though, is that if you reach out to her and the response isn't what you really, really want, all it's going to do is hurt you more. And I listened to her, but I didn't listen to her. And so I did it anyway. Calling. If you're okay, I hope you're okay. I heard you had an accident. If you need anything, I'm here for you. If you need to go anywhere, I'll take you. If you need anything, I'm here for you. I love you. I mean, this was a 10-year relationship. It's the same with the people in the organization. You leave the organization, but you're still saying the same thing. I love you. I'm here for you. If you need anything, I'm here. But just like in the relationship that I left, she's not going to respond. The people that you leave in the organization, they're not going to respond. They're done. In both situations, they are fucking done. The watchtower helped me have some of the best friends and the best relationships that I had known to that point. Just like my last relationship was the best relationship I had had up till that point. Right? But when it was done, in both of those situations, the best thing for me to have done to get past them would be to go no contact. No contact is a thing that should be happening in dating. When you leave somebody, you leave a relationship, and the relationship is not good for you, everyone says go no contact. Don't reach out to that person. Don't allow that person to reach out to you. Leave them completely alone, because the time that you're away will give you time to see how the relationship really was. It'll give you time to really decipher what was going on in the relationship and whether you actually want their relationship back or no. Do you really need their relationship? Once you step out of the relationship, maybe you'll have time to really examine it and see what was really happening and why the relationship needed to come to an end. Go no contact. Don't talk to them. Now, see, had I done that, had I continued to do that, even with my parents, I would have felt better. The reason I didn't was because when I talked to my therapist kept saying, you know what, you have a lot of this and you have a lot of that. Maybe you need to talk to your parents. I'm not telling you to talk to your parents, but maybe you should think about talking to your parents. Deep down, I already knew there is no fucking point in me talking to my parents. I already knew that. And I think a lot of times, deep down, we know what is best for us to do to get through certain situations, but our emotions are so strong that they cloud our judgment. And we say, I know I shouldn't reach out to this person. I know they're not going to talk to me. But maybe, what if they do? And then they don't. And then what happens? You feel like shit. And that's relationship shit. Then you think about your family. Oh, maybe I should just reach out to them. Maybe this time I can say something and they'll say something back. Maybe they're older and they've gotten sick and they've had time to think about it. And they'll realize how great of a person I am. Maybe this time it'll work. And then you reach out to them and then they don't respond. Or if they do respond, they are a complete fucking asshole. And how do you feel now? Like shit. So it got to the point. What's up, Razor Sharp International? So it got to a point in both situations where I had to say, you know what? I will never, ever beg someone to love me. Period. I will never, ever chase anyone. Period. Because for the most part, people are like shadows. You try to chase your shadow, it runs away. The moment you walk away from your shadow, it starts to follow you. People are generally the same way. I will never, ever do that again. I will never, ever, ever do that again. So what did I have to ultimately end up doing? I ultimately had to end up saying, as much as I love these people are gone. These people are completely gone. Much in the same way they probably look at me and say, he is gone. I don't know what happened to Keith. He is gone. The same way they say that about me, that's the same thing I have to say about them. They are gone. They are gone from my life. As much as it fucking hurts. And I'm sorry to curse so much tonight, but this is so real to me. Every morning I wake up. I usually wake up between 3:30 and 6 in the morning. And I walk this room. I start right here and I pace all the way to the kitchen. And I come all the way back. And I just keep pacing back and forth. And that is my time to think. about all the shit that I've done to people, that I regret that I've done to people, that people have done to me, the happy feelings I have, the sad feelings I have, everything that I'm feeling comes out in my morning paces. And there are some times when I walk back and forth in this room, and it's a great time. I think about some amazing things. I think about my career. I think about my daughter. I think about some great things. And that shit feels great. And once I get done, I'm done. But there's also some days when it doesn't feel so great. And I think about my family, my friends, my failed relationships. 2 of them. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all, especially around this time of year. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, always the worst time of year for me. And in the past, I had my family still, we were still able to talk for a while. Then we just stopped being able to talk. And then at the very least, I had my relationship with my girlfriend, and she understood what was going on. Then that went away. LaTanya Smith said, yes, then I hold on to the fact that so many waking up. I'm looking at 2 to 5 years, wondering if our friends would be the next group to leave the board. Hopefully so. But this time of year is always the worst, man. The worst. And so I give myself however long it takes me walking back and forth in this room to get it all out in the morning. The good feelings, I can keep those all day. But the ones that make me start shedding tears, that shit has to stay in here. Once I get done walking, and I hit my workout, and I hit the shower, and I go get spiffy on their ass real quick, all that sadness got to stay in here. I don't take that with me. I'll leave that shit on the back porch. And if I need to pick it up when I come back home, I'll pick it up then. But I had to come to the realization that my relationship with the people who were in the organization was over. That relationship, those relationships were done. They had come to an end. The same way I had to finally come to the realization that the relationship I had with my ex had come to an end. It was over. It was done. And there was nothing I could do to change it. Because much in the same way that you can't make someone love you in an intimate relationship, you can't make someone accept you in any other type of relationship either. Either they do or they don't. And if they don't, you have to wash your hands of the situation. That's what I have to tell myself. There are still days where I have to tell myself, stop worrying about those people in the organization. They are gone. I was talking to my aunt today, talking about her brother. He is gone. He is gone. There's nothing we can do. He is gone. When I have those days where I think about the past, my ex-wife, gone. That shit is done. Donezo. Does it hurt? Yeah. Because it is a connection to the past, man. And most of us don't have a lot of new connections yet. It took me a long time to make new friends. It took me decades to make real friends. And when I made them finally, my ex-girlfriend was like, I'm jealous of these new friends you got, because they were real friends. Those, like, my friends, my dudes, they are real friends, man. These are like my brothers, for real, for real. We were all at the hookah spot hanging out. We all had some drinks and we all toasted to each other. It was like, dude, man, we all were saying to each other, y'all are my brothers, man. And I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, and we all said that we know that if we didn't have anybody else, we had our bros right here. It took me 20 years to find male friends like that, because you can't trust anybody. It's hard to trust people the older you get. But I got my dudes, right? So they helped me through a lot of shit, bro. So once I realized, okay, this relationship with these people is done. My relationship with my ex-wife, completely done. I would probably never speak to her again unless it's about my daughter for some reason, which it has to be something I just don't know. Otherwise, my daughter could tell me herself. I mean, she's grown and married. So there's really no need for me to speak to her at all, ever, which I probably will not. Ex-girlfriend, done. Will probably never see her or her family again after a 10-year relationship. Done. Right? Muscle Max Z1 says, while you were a witness, had you ever shunned anyone? If so, can you talk about it now with respect to your current perspective? Curious, since I was never a JW. That is a good question. What I will say to that is, I remember being young, and the first person that I remember ever being disfellowshipped that I knew was one of the elders' daughters. Her name was LaCheryl. She was the daughter of the guy I talk about that was in the dream I had that actually made me leave the organization. And I remember we were not there the night that they read her off the platform. So we were at an assembly and I went up to her to talk to her. We was eating. I was like, man, this is good, right? And she ignored me. And I said something else. I'm stupid. I'm like a teenager, not catching the hint. I didn't know she was disfellowshipped. So I just walked away. I was like, damn, why the Shirley ain't speaking to me? Jerk. So then I went and told, my mom about it. She was like, she's disfellowshipped. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I started ignoring her, too, because I couldn't talk to her. Now, as I got older, my best friend, me and him were friends for a very long time. He was literally my best friend. As I've spoken about before, my ex-wife was my best friend's cousin. That's how we met. His mom and sister, we were all family. We were like family for real. So his sister got disfellowship. She got disfellowship several times, but the very first time, I remember I was an older teenager at this point, probably like 15, 16. And I remember sitting there at the Sunday meeting and they read her off the platform. And I remember looking at her and she saw me looking at her, and I was so disappointed. Because we were such fam at that time, right? And, I just knew that I couldn't speak to her anymore. So I would go hang out with my best friend. Of course, his sister lived with him, so she would be there. But nobody really spoke to her unless it was something super important. You know what I mean? But then as I grew up, I think she ended up leaving the organization. And so at that point, I didn't care. I started talking to her. But then she went back to the organization and she actually trolled me a couple of times because she came back to the organization and she saw some of the videos I had done about the child molestation cases. And she hadn't really done any research about it, so she didn't know all of the things that had actually happened with the molestation case. So she was accusing me of being a keyboard warrior, that I was hiding behind my computer. I did a video about this as well, which I thought was completely ignorant because I'm showing my whole face and everyone knows my name, so I'm not hiding from anyone. But those were the two instances of times where I really actively shunned someone. Even though I wasn't even really baptized and I really shouldn't have had to shun them, I just did it to go along with the programming for the most part. So yeah, now if I was still in the org, I probably would still be shunning people. But since I'm out, I don't have any need to shun anybody, and I don't think it's the right thing to do at all. I think it's completely ridiculous. But yeah. But since I had to realize that those relationships had ended and I had to go no contact with everyone in my past, ex-wife, ex-family, ex-girlfriend, it's not something that feels good. I don't enjoy having to do that. As a matter of fact, I have another family member. My uncle is sick. And I'm me and my aunt are trying to figure out how to get him here and what we need to do and how we were trying to figure it all out. And it's just us because nobody else is going to help. It's just me and my aunt. And, I keep telling her, we have to come to the realization that it's just us. There's nobody else that cares. It's just us. And as much as I would like to be able to have a relationship with, father and mother, that's just it's not going to happen, RKS note says, religion becomes your identity. If someone disrespects your religion, it's same as disrespecting your skin color, high school, alma mater, etc. Shunning becomes a natural defense mechanism, in my honest opinion. Interesting. So it's just us, and I've had to tell my aunt, he is gone. There's nothing we can do. We've lost that relationship. It's gone. And I said, if you want to continue to contact him, you can. I realize that's your family, that's your brother. But for me, I am never going to contact him again. I can't. Because all it's going to do is break my heart every time I do it. And who wants to keep having their heart broken while other people go away okay? So like someone else stated earlier in the chat, what's the Latanya Smith? You have to just move on. It's the same, but it's the same pain. The same pain I felt when my relationship ended is the same pain I felt when I lost my family in the organization. It's the same pain. I know there's some people in this chat who are still going to the hall though, and haven't completely made the decision to leave. Even though you may feel like in your heart, it's the right thing to do, right? You're like, I know I don't want to be a part of this shit. But what's it going to be like if I leave? That shit's going to be weird. What's it gonna be like? What's it gonna be like when I leave? Oh my God, this shit's I'm not gonna be able to talk to my family. I'm not gonna be able to talk to my friends. And it's tough. But much in the same way that you don't want to see someone you care about in an unhealthy relationship, you kind of have to look at yourself the same way. Gypsy says, I am an empath. I feel things very deeply. It kills me every day. I know, I'm the same way. That's why I purge it. That's why I purge it every day, walking around this house. I mean, 'cause it's me. I'm by myself. I can walk all goddamn night. Ain't nobody here but my black ass. It's just me. So whenever I need to just pace the floor, I'll pace the floor. If I need to go outside and go for a run at 3 a.m, I'll get up and work out in my living room and go for a damn run. Right? It's not easy, but just because something is not easy doesn't mean it must not be. Just because something is not easy doesn't mean that it must not be done. It still must be done. Either it cannot be done and we can live unhappily in the past, because that's what we're doing. We're not living in the present. In the present, they're gone. In the past, they're there. It's much worse than losing someone in death, Gypsy Lily, and I've had a show about that. I would much rather lose people in death and know that they weren't here than to lose them in life and know that they made a conscious effort, a conscious decision to oust me from their lives. Muscle Max says to RKS note, interesting thought, but shunning someone forever in many cases because of a difference of opinion, well, just does not rise to the level you are describing. Razor Sharp International says, nothing is easy, guys, but do it anyway. Only the strong survive. It's not easy. It's super difficult. You're welcome, Muscle Max. Thank you so much for being in the show, man. I appreciate your comments as well. It's not easy. It's not easy. But how many times have we broken up with somebody? Now, I'm still single. Wondering where my queen is. Who knows? She might be a 6'1" Amazonian. Thought I'd slide that in there. But here's the thing. We will not have room for the new things in life if we are continuing to hold on to the past. And it isn't easy. It is so difficult. But for you all out there, how many times have you broken up with someone and ended up in a relationship that was much better suited for you? And in the time that you broke up with someone, you thought, I will never find someone to make me feel that way again. I'm going to be by myself forever. I will never find somebody that love me that I will love like I love them. I'll never find a woman that'll love me the same way. I'm just done. I'm not going to date anybody. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm sick of it. I'm done. And then one day, this beautiful person walks into your life, and all that bullshit that you said flies right out the fucking window. All that shit flies out the window. and you talk to your friends like, oh, I thought you was done. Well, yeah, I was until this happened. Okay. LaTanya Smith says, look to the future and growth. Those still in the cult must see us be successful. That's a very nice statement, LaTanya Smith. I appreciate that. But we need to see ourselves successful more than they need to see us successful. I don't really care what they think. I think the biggest step is for us to stop even caring what they think, right? But if they do see us successful, it is kind of like saying, hey, you won't die if you leave the organization. So I do agree with you in that aspect, LaTanya Smith. I agree with that. Cleo Banks says, I'm just staying in the organization to continue a relationship with my mom, and it shows in my relationships too. My ex and I talk all the time, and I know I need to stop. Trust me, Cleo, I've talked to other people who are in that same situation. Same situation. And I know you don't want to be in a position where you no longer have a relationship with your mother. But that's where talking to people who have dealt with that same thing will help. You know what I mean? Most people are not going to understand that. Most people are going to say, yeah, you need to stop. And I realize I'm saying that now, but I also realize that it does take time. It takes time, and it takes somebody. Got you, LaTanya Smith. It takes time to get to that realization. I think the thing that bothered me the most was that I realized that time is an unrenewable asset. You don't get it back. And the time that you spend, not you personally, Cleo Banks, but I'm just saying you as in general, the time that you spend doing something that you really don't want to do is time that you will never get back. And it's better to live in your truth than to take a lot of time living a lie. Living in truth doesn't always feel good in the short term, but the character that you gain from being able to walk, there's nothing more powerful than being able to walk away from a situation. That is a true sign of boundaries and conditions, to be able to say, you did this or you're doing this. You don't respect the way I think. Right? You have to remember that. Now, as much as Jehovah's Witnesses want us to respect them, it's a two-way street, and they need to respect us as well. Now, if you're doing something where you're saying, hey, this is just the way I think, this is what I believe, I'm not being disrespectful to you. This is just how I believe. As a human being and someone that loves you, they should extend that courtesy to you, even if they don't agree with you. Just like me and KB and Great Dane, we'll talk on him. We will not agree at all. We will not agree at all, but I still respect them, right? And if they are unable or unwilling to respect you simply because you've placed a condition on the relationship that says, in order for this relationship to continue, I need you to respect the way I think, right? As an adult, you deserve that. As a human being, you deserve that, right? As much as we love our parents, as much as I love my mom and dad, The biggest issue, and I don't know if you saw that episode, the stream I did, Cleo, where I literally showed the texts and the exchange that I had with my father and mother. With my father, the most important thing for me as an adult is if I give you respect, you have to give it back to me, or we have no relationship. That is the condition that I place on all relationships. Familial relationships, friendship relationships, intimate relationships. Respect is key. And if someone can't respect you enough to respect the way you think, if they can't respect the way you think, then they don't respect you as a human being, which means they don't deserve a place in your heart, even though they already have one. And that's what makes it hard. They have a place in your heart already. Evicting them is the hard thing. I have to evict you from your place in my heart. That is so fucking difficult, man. I have to evict you from the place that you have in my heart, and I have to not allow you to come back into it. So difficult. That's difficult in familial relationships, friend relationships, and intimate relationships. That dynamic is so difficult, man. But you deserve it, Cleo. How people talk about people being fake, right? And our love for our parents is real, right? It's real. But if it's dependent upon us living a lie, are we not being fake? Gotcha. Understood, Cleo. No one's telling you to turn your back on your mom. The only person that's going to turn their back is it's not going to be you. I don't think you're going to say, I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness, I'm turning my back on you. You have to remember, we're not the ones who are turning our backs on people. And that's what's so crazy. The religion has a way of making us feel like we're the bad guys, and we aren't. I don't think you're planning on turning your back on your mom, Cleo. You're afraid she's going to turn her back on you. Your difference of opinion with religion is not making you turn your back on your mom. If you felt like you were turning your back on your mom, you wouldn't say what you just said. It wouldn't be hard for you to turn your back on your mom if you wanted to. You don't want to. You're afraid she's going to turn her back on you. That is the issue. So the same as with me, I was afraid that something was going to happen that I have absolutely no control over. I don't have any control over the way my parents will react to me leaving the organization. I can say, like I said to them, I love you very much. I am so glad that you have found a religion that works for you. I respect your religion, but it is not my faith. Those are my words to them. I have been there. I've told them several times, I love you guys. I'm here for you. If you need me, I will always be here. They chose to turn their back on me, not vice versa. So one of the things, just like in a relationship, if you leave a relationship that wasn't good for you, or it's because you had a difference of opinion, you guys thought differently, we can't absorb the negativity of ending the relationship and put it on us as if it's 100% our fault. That's not fair to us, right? If you offer yourself to someone in every way and they refuse to take it, that's on them, not us. That is on them, not us. We cannot allow ourselves to take on all of that. Latanya Smith says, I know how that feels, but you'd be shunned because you will not support the corruption. Exactly. Exactly. If anyone wants to call and give their opinion on the topic, the number is on the screen. I will put it in the chat as well. There is the number, 615-270-2094. If anyone has anything to add to the conversation or thought, feel free to call. Let's talk about it. Razor Sharp says, your mom is going to turn her back on you if you leave. Now, you don't think you deserve more than that. We have to step our self-esteem up as well and stop thinking what people think. Latanya Smith says, the Borg used our loved ones as a weapon against us. And they did. And they did. There just comes a point where we have to value our freedom of thinking more than the relationships that we have with people who don't value our thinking. It's really messed up. It is a completely messed up situation. And I don't like that it is the way it is, but it is the way it is. So at a certain point, I had to decide it's time to leave this organization. At a certain point, I had to decide it's time to leave this relationship. And after leaving both of those things, there was a time where I didn't know if I made the right decision. I thought maybe I should go back to the organization. Maybe I should go back to her. I still love those people in the organization. I still love her. Still love my ex. Still loved her. Latanya Smith says, if all the ones who are awake will leave, it would also free our loved ones. We don't know that, unfortunately. Cleo says, everyone is right. I guess growing up in the organization, we didn't have to make tough decisions. They were made for us. It's so hard for me to make those tough calls, even when it comes to careers. Latanya Smith says the Borg would cave in faster. We don't know that. The only thing we know for sure, in my opinion, is how we think and how we're going to react. People leaving could make the people who stay even more solidify that they're telling the truth and that they have the truth. It could make their conviction even stronger, for all we know. Somebody could come across a podium and say the governing body says this is a sign that the end is coming. You never know. We don't know how other people will react. All we know is how we react to things. And at a certain point in life, it takes us making those hard decisions. Cleo, you and I know this isn't comparable 100%, But last week, was it last week? Last week, you called in, and I've been doing this show for a very long time, and you never wanted to call in. You were too afraid. Well, you did it. You did it. That was a tough thing for you to do. That's how tough things are. Everything always seems so much more formidable until you conquer it. Think about all the things in your life and all our lives that before we conquered them, we thought they were unconquerable. There are things in my life that to this day, I don't know how I got through, but I did because at the time I had no choice. Either I was going to get through them or I was either going to kill myself or live miserably for the rest of my life. And both of those were options that were not going to be considered, right? All it takes is a start. All it takes is to make one hard decision and it gets easier. Just a small one. Just making that phone call, that's a start. Right? Yes, she called in on the dating show. And yeah, I grew up in the organization too, so I get it. You don't have to make tough decisions. Well, you do make tough decisions. Yes, you do. We make tough decisions in the organization too. You know, for me, you don't think having sex with worldly girls is a tough decision? Not having sex with worldly girls, or not going out with worldly girls, or not hanging out with worldly people? We make tough decisions all the time. I don't think it's tough decisions that is what's difficult. I think it's tough decisions that go against the programming are what's difficult. See, it was easy to make tough decisions when they went along with the programming. Because I know personally, there was a whole bunch of girls. I was like, man, I really want to knock her down. But I know I'm going to get this fellowship. I'm going to get on private proof or something. So I ain't. Especially when the girl I had a crush on my whole life, when I got to high school, she finally started liking me. I'm like, ain't this, I'm trying to get baptized and like a motherfucker. Now she like me. I literally wanted that girl for about, from the time I was, 10 years old till I was like 14. I get to high school, she finally started liking me. I'm like, God. Everybody's like, Keith, you dating her? No. Damn it. We made tough decisions all the time. But now we have to learn to make the tough decisions that will actually make our lives better, and not the tough decisions that someone else tells us will make our lives better. Right? Right? But the only way, it's like, oh, Ty Smith, you funny. It's like, I look at it like this too. You know how, this might be a little prejudice, but it's just real talk. You know how for the most part, white people always move away from their families? And for the most part, black people always stay around their families? Like, white people turn 18 and they're like, fuck you guys, I'm going to Canada. Black people are like, whew, I finished that. Let me find a house around the corner so we can still barbecue every Sunday. and I can still hang out with my cousin and them, and we can still go to the liquor store down the street, and we can still go party at Club 1807. Like, that's kind of how it is a lot of times. And I think that one of the reasons that white people do that white people do so well as a whole is that they move, and when black people do this, it you can tell black people who do this versus the ones who don't. I didn't. I stayed in my area when I didn't move away. But the people who do move away have a much easier time thinking differently than the people that they grew up with, as opposed to people who stay around their families. You don't have as much of an ability to think freely because you're still being influenced by the people who influenced you as a child. They still see you as a bit of a child, and they still hold sway over your decision-making processes. It's the same way with the organization. Until you leave, until you get away from those people, you're still going to be influenced by them, even as far as a relationship. If you're in a relationship with someone for a very long time, you're influenced by them both ways. People think it's just men that influence women. No, women influence guys too. You're influenced by those people. And until you leave that situation, you're going to continue to be influenced by it. At some point, it takes the courage to say, you know what? I am done. I'm done. No matter how much it hurts, no matter how sad I'm going to be about it, no matter how much I wish it didn't have to be this way. And I know we've all been, I wish it didn't have to be this way. I wish I didn't have to do this. But the bottom line is that your sanity is more important than their acceptance. Your sanity is so much more important than their acceptance. And I would much rather someone said being sane in an insane situation is not an indication of sanity. And it's the same way with the organization or with a relationship that doesn't work for you. We know the organization is insane, but you being able to be in the organization and pretend to be sane doesn't make you sane. It kind of makes you insane. You're giving away your sanity to be able to be accepted by people with insane beliefs. And that's not good for your mental health. It's not good for our mental health. So at a certain point, we have to get to a point where we say, I don't care what the insane people think. We're going to get our bird box on and put our damn blindfolds on, get us a box of birds, and walk around and dodge these crazy people. Don't look at the magazines. Don't look at the books. Don't look at jw.org, because if you look at that shit, you go crazy. And now, not only can you not look at that shit, you got the crazy people that's running around trying to get you to take your blindfold off. Hey, look at this. Look at it. All you gotta do is look. All you gotta do is come back. Look, let me show you this new brochure. Let me show you this track. Ooh, let me look at this, man. That's such a good comparison. That is such a good comparison, man. Let me go ahead and pop my collar real quick. That is such a good comparison. It's Bird Box, man. Look at this. Look at this brochure right here. Just take your blindfold off. I know you don't want to pay us no attention, as my aunt said. I know you want to pay us no attention, but go on, take your blindfold off. Just look at this. Just come back. And as soon as you come back, you're going to commit suicide because you have just killed yourself, the self that you really are. Every day you stay in an organization, you are killing the person that you really are. And I don't want to be killing myself. That's dumb. So at a certain point, Cleo Banks said it really is. Reza Sharp says, absolutely. The sooner you leave the family or the organization, you prosper and become a free thinker, which equals success completely. Muscle Max Z1 says that Raza seems to be leaving this or any other high control org means regaining the ability to be an independent thinker or better yet, free thinking person. Exactly, man. Exactly. So guys, to sum it all up, at a certain point, we all have to realize that shit is done. We may have to go no contact with people that we love, just like intimate relationships. The best relationship you ever had came to an end. Every one of us who has been in the best relationship we had at a certain point that we thought was the best relationship that we had came to an end. And it was probably for the best. We didn't know it at that time, but it was probably for the best. And at a certain point, we have to realize that, hey, this shit is the way it is. Those people are done. They're gone to me. They're dead to me. Just like with some exes, we have to realize that junk is done. They're gone. They're not coming back. And if they do come back, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. If you go back to the organization knowing what you know, it will not be the same. You go back to an ex after knowing what you know after y'all broke up, it will not be the same. So we have to come to an absolution where we say, all right, we are done. They are gone, and it is time to move on. All right, guys, I think I have ranted enough tonight. Thank you all for joining me. If anyone wants to email me, the email address is kfitsmylife@hotmail.com. And as usual, we have to shout out our sister Self-Care Boss with Couture Massage at 1439 Northwest Broad Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The website is www.couturemassage.com. Phone number 615-746-7606. She also has an ebook, Becoming a Self-Care Boss, 31 Days to Self-Discovery, that can be purchased at www.couturemassage.com/shop. Her goal is to help musicians and entrepreneurs to become a self-care boss. If you guys want to join the Patreon, become patrons, the Patreon is kfitsmylife. I think that is patreon.com/kfitsmylife. There are some new videos there. You can check them out as well. And if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much for being here. And I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same channel, all right? Peace.